Got it.
Got it. Life is good.
Be better when we can go golfing.
Oh, I can't wait.
Me
God.
either. I've been jonesing. I don't know that I'm gonna set up my net much. Just because there's a lot of stuff that we need to do with the garage. So I don't know that I'm gonna really have time to put the net up. So
We can
Need
put
to
mine
play.
up and you can come over and hit here. We have that mat too that I got.
oh yeah,
for
that's
Christmas.
true. Yep.
So love to try that. So
Let me Okie dokie. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. My name is Aaron.
my name is Mike. Welcome to the Amped Golf Podcast. 29 days to the Masters.
I'm excited.
It's coming.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah, it's almost here, so I'm looking forward to that. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Leave us a comment. And join the fun and hit that like button for us, would you? Do you think there's anything that Tiger Woods could do to get him canceled?
He could have another affair.
So, according to TMZ, Tiger Woods' girlfriend of the last 6 years is taking him to court over the NDA she claims he made her sign when they got together.
Okay.
She's citing a law that prohibits NDAs when there's evidence of sexual assault or harassment.
Whoa. Whoa. That's big.
Right. It's big. So if Tiger is involved in another scandal involving women, does he get canceled this time?
Yeah, especially if it's like legit sexual assault charges and things like that. I mean, that's huge. No one deserves to not be charged for something like that if it's true. Like that's some serious stuff.
Right. So nobody really knows what she's thinking, but the thought process is she's not really looking for money from him. She's eager to share her experiences with Tiger.
Oh boy. So she's going to use this to make money off of too, which
of course she is.
I don't want to get too far into this. Obviously, like if these allegations are true, then
we don't know yet. Yeah.
She deserves everything that can be done. No one deserves that. No woman should have to go through that. That's not right. No matter who is the one perpetrating that. That's probably going to be a big end to his career, I would imagine, actually. I don't see too many people.
This one would hurt him, wouldn't it?
Big time.
Yeah, I think so.
Cheating is one thing, but sexual assault is a whole. That's a whole nother
right. And we
bag.
Hey, full disclaimer: we don't know anything.
Right.
All we know is what's being reported right now, and that's very, very little. In Tiger's camp, and Tiger's obviously not saying anything. So
right.
There's not much there. So more to come. I would imagine that if it does come out and there is something.
I didn't even see that. Was that like a today thing that was announced? I didn't see that.
It happened today. So, God, you want to wish the best and hope it's not true, but we'll have to wait to see how it plays out. Do you believe that there's eventually needs to be a path back to the PGA from LIV?
I think it's a ban, right? Like are they permanently banned from the PGA Tour?
According to Monahan, right? They're banned.
So. I'm not the one making the decision, so
right. But do you think there should be a path back? Because contracts are going to end, right?
Yes, they are.
What happens to those players when the contract ends? What if they say, you know what, Brooksy, we're not thrilled with how you've been playing. We're going to go find somebody else. Does Brooks Koepka get back to the PGA Tour?
No. I don't think his heart's in it anymore. And we'll talk a little bit about that because I've been wanting to talk about the full swing and specifically the episode with Brooks. But I do not think his heart is in it at all anymore. I don't think he has the drive to be the best anymore.
Gotcha. If he wants to come back though, do you think there should be a path back for him? That's the question. I
don't think that the PGA Tour should be allowed to permanently close the door on players. If they can go back and do the Corn Ferry Tour and grind it out and get their card back again, sure, but I think that's the opportunity. They made their bed by going to LIV. They knew what they were signing up for, and if they lose their contracts or they're out of that sucks. But I mean, you kind of made your bed, you know?
Yeah. Here's what Max Homa had to say about the whole thing.
Oh
'Cause
boy,
he
I'm
was asked
excited.
this question.
Yeah,
So he said, my selfish, petty side would be really frustrated because I have not been annoyed at anyone leaving. It's your own choice and you have to do what you believe you should do. I'm
right.
totally cool with that. Things I've been joking about and maybe not so subtle about is some people have said things on their way out that's been quite frustrating. So if they were to come back, I think it would be it would feel kind of nice because it's almost like, oh yeah, never mind. Like I do like the PGA Tour, as we who have stayed love the PGA Tour.
Right. It's a little disingenuous.
But I think that the fact that they went out and, not saying we're a family out here, I'm not super duper close with a ton of guys, but like it does feel like we're all kind of in this together to push competitive golf and push the game forward.
Yeah.
So I think my petty side would be a little bit annoyed, but also kind of smiling underneath, thinking, okay, welcome back to what you could have just been doing.
Right. This whole time.
He wraps it out saying, but I think my unselfish side and my realistic side is that, as I just mentioned, all of those guys that you can name that left are great for golf. Champion golfers, interesting golfers, so many great stories across their careers. So of course, I think if I could put my selfish part aside and maybe put on my big boy hat, I would realize that having them back would be a good thing for golf at large. He's not wrong, right?
He's not wrong. I mean, getting DeChambeau and Cam Smith and DJ back, I think are like the three big ones for me who it'd be great to see them back on the PGA Tour and competing in tournaments again, and things like that. But, they made their decision. So, and right now that decision is final. There's nothing Jay Monahan's going to do to let them back on the tour. So
no, it's still a hair across his ass.
Yeah.
He just can't get rid of, right? So speaking of Cam Smith, there's a thought process that Greg Norman has ruined his chances of Cam ever becoming one of the greatest golfers ever and potentially the greatest Australian golfer ever by poaching him and using his Australian roots to get him over to live. What do you think?
I tend to agree with that statement. Cam Smith was probably one of the most exciting people to watch on tour. It seemed like he was really getting into the flow of things. He won the Players, really close to winning the Masters, kind of fell apart there. But like that year, last year was insane, winning the Open. He was just starting to find his rhythm. And I do think he would have gone down as probably one of the greatest, if Australian golfers, probably. I mean, if he could have at least won a couple majors more than Greg Norman, if he could have won the Masters, he's already better than Greg.
Right. Sorry, Greg. But Cam is 29 years old, so it's not like he's got a ton of time left. He's got lots of time, obviously. Right. However, he was hitting his stride. I think.
Big time.
Alluding to that, right?
And
starting to really play well and consistently show up in.
He was someone that I looked forward to every week to watch. I mean, he was one of my favorite golfers.
Yeah, we loved him. We loved the hairdo, and we loved the fact that he loaded beers into the claret jug and chugged the beers out of it. I think that was awesome.
Yeah.
PXG is laying off 125 workers. Now, that probably more than 125. They didn't give an exact number. They just said more. They're also changing the structure of the retail stores to only be open 5 days a week now. So instead of 7. So I wonder if they're going to choose the weekends as to the ones
probably
to cut, or if they're going to, they're closed Monday, Tuesday, and open the rest of the time, because a lot of stiffs work Monday through Friday, the 9 to 5 job. So hard to get into a store. So it's interesting with everything that PXG is talking about and doing, and the new ball that they released that some people like, some people don't, that they're going to be laying off people now. I wonder if times are getting tough for them.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, again, it's not really the golf brand that I would necessarily go with if I'm going to get clubs.
I don't know. Never swung
Yeah,
one.
that's
I don't
true.
know what they feel like. I mean, it's one of those things where, yeah, I'd love to try all the brands and figure out which one works best for me.
Right.
I like my Mizunos, but I'm open to trying other stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Cam Smith lives right by TPC Sawgrass.
Right by there.
Home course.
Is he playing this week?
No, he's not allowed.
Oh wait, he can't. Yeah, that's right, because it's a PGA event. Yeah.
He is considering going and walking the course as a fan.
Do it.
That would be awesome. Would you?
Yeah.
Can you imagine walking the
That'd
course?
be so cool.
And going, hey, that's Cam Smith.
That's right. Good luck.
Yeah,
Hey, can I
let's
have
go
a
have a
picture?
beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Can you sign my flag?
Yeah, you know he's going to be, if he goes there, he's not someone that's going to be disruptive, right? But he will try to
He'll
make
probably
his
be
presence known, right?
He'll probably be in some like hospitality, suite somewhere watching. I don't think he'll be really meandering around the crowds too much. He might, but I feel like that would get crazy. I mean, he'd get mobbed.
People would flock to him.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. I think that would be cool. So Netflix has green lighted in the PGA Tour, not live. Netflix and the PGA Tour green lighted season 2.
Good.
Let's talk a little bit about season 1 and some of the stuff we haven't touched on. How's that before
We
we
can-
keep going on other stuff?
Sure. Yeah, we can.
This could be a whole show. And
Oh, yeah.
we might want to do that at some point. But
Oh yeah.
what was your favorite episode?
So I think it's a tie between, I think it's episode 2 and 3 with Brooks Koepka, like when they were really going and following Brooks, and Joel Damon.
Ooh, yeah.
I really enjoyed those 2 episodes a lot. I think, again, we talk a lot and we look at a lot of news and, speculation and like speculate on these players. This was a really good show that got you into like their personal lives a little bit and showed you what they were like off the course. And I think for Brooks, I think the big takeaway that I had, and maybe it made me like him a little bit more, was that he was very like real and honest talking all the time, which he normally is, but a lot of times he comes across as arrogant. And he wasn't arrogant about this. He talked really openly about the struggles that he had after he got injured, and it just seemed to compound. Those injuries just seemed to compound. He'd get injured over and over and over again. He wasn't playing well, and he was really frustrated of him in himself, and you could really see that. I mean, the guy looked almost heartbroken because he wasn't playing well, and I kind of empathize with that a little bit. I mean, haven't been great at a lot of things, but to be really good at something and just to all of a sudden fall off and not be able to attain that greatness again has to be very difficult. And I would imagine that it weighs pretty heavily on him, which probably was a big reason why he went over to live.
Yeah, I think that one was pretty good. Definitely like the Joel Damon episode as well, because it gives you insight into the mental aspect of the game a lot.
Right.
And his thought process of, I'm not a top 30 guy,
right.
And really putting himself down.
Yeah.
But his ability to go to a US Open qualifier, think he's out of it after the first
bad round. Yeah.
First round, and has to play a second round right after that. So he's having a couple hard seltzers or something like that. And he goes and makes the cut and then almost wins the US Open.
Yeah. Comes in like 3rd place, right? He finishes 3rd place at the US Open, his highest finish at any major.
It was incredible. I mean, incredible. And the relationship between him and his caddy was, it's something pretty special. So that's cool to watch as well. I did like Tony Finau's episode quite a bit.
Me too. And I thought it was really cool to see Tony. So like, that was another really good one where you really got to see what it's like for him on the road. He's probably one of the few guys that goes out there with his entire family, and it's not a small family. I mean, he's a Mormon. He has a lot of children. So taking the family is a lot, and he can't just be done playing and then go by himself. He also then has to go be a father, and interact with his kids and just, there's just a lot of other distractions that come with that. And then for him to win twice while his family was, with him is pretty crazy.
Yeah, he played extremely well at the end of last season. It's just a matter of time before he wins a major, I think, right? And hopefully we can see that this year. yet. But I thought that was an eye-opening episode. A lot of people were throwing a lot of shade at him, saying, "Yeah, here you go, using your family as an excuse." And I don't think he did that at all. I
No.
think he used it as an exception.
Yeah.
I can still do this and be a family man, and
Right.
this is how it works for me.
Right. And especially, I mean, part of the reason for having the family on board was that his wife had lost her mother
Right.
recently, and he didn't want her to be alone. So he's like, all right, you're all going to come with me. Like, we're just going to travel together and do it. And it worked, which is crazy.
It worked really well, too. I lost a little respect for Rory. There's a lot of people that love him, a lot of people that hate him. Very polarizing figure right now. I didn't think it was necessary for him to be sitting there at the end of his episode with throwing out the, fuck you, Phil. And I thought that was maybe taking it too far.
Sure.
I understand emotions are high, but Phil was one of the people that helped Rory be what he is today, because the tour wouldn't be what it is without the people that came before him, right? So,
Right.
And Phil was one of those people. So I thought it was a little disrespectful. I understand, again, emotions are high, and I don't agree with a lot of the things Phil says anymore. He's out there spewing off again, saying stuff about the tour and the rankings and all that crap. I don't want to get into Phil. This is not a we hate live, we love golf, and we want the best golf possible. I think there's a lot of things about live that I don't like. There's also things about the PGA Tour I don't like, and we're going to get into some of those too.
Right.
Live right now is out there going, imitation is the greatest form of flattery, because if you have paid attention to any of the news lately, the PGA Tour has announced major changes for next year.
Sure.
And those changes include several no-cut events, limited field, big money, and everybody's like, holy shit, they're copying Live. But are they copying Live?
Yeah, here's the thing, though. Like, imitation is the best form of flattery, but when the person imitating you is better at it than you are, then you have a problem.
Yeah, JT said it pretty good, because he was interviewed and they were talking about this, and this is what he said. He goes, well, it is, the greatest form of flattery. We have an astronomically higher amount of quality players than they do in their events.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I mean, if you're just going to single out those events and have them only be the events we have, then yeah, it's extremely similar, but that's not what they're doing.
No,
they held a meeting where like 50 tour players showed up, and there's a couple players, and one in particular, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, was not happy about this. But that player didn't show up to the meeting to hear it out, right? So the PGA Tour is going to throw out 45 events or something to that effect, and 8 of these events are going to be designated as special events that are no cut, limited fields, plus the 4 majors. And plus there's a couple of other events out there as well. And it's not the only no-cut events the PGA Tour has ever done.
No.
So basically what's going to happen is they're going to have 16 designated events next year that include the 4 majors. So 12 and 4. The Players Championship, 3 playoff events, and 8 additional tournaments that will feature limited fields and no cuts. The winner of those other designated events, which will include the Genesis Invitational, Arnold Palmer Memorial, and 5 other tournaments that have not been announced. Here's the thing, though. Will receive 700 FedEx Cup points compared to 500 points for the winner of non-designated events.
See, and that's the thing. Like, so we're already getting into, and this, so I think watching the documentary, and maybe I fell right into the trap, but I think I came away from watching the documentary with a more bitter taste in my mouth for Live. It's just one of those things where, again, I think it was just, that's the way that it was, put on me. And I forgot what I was talking about. Just gone. There was like a technical error on my end. Like, that's all I thought about for a second. What were we talking about?
we were talking about you have a bitter taste in your mouth
from Live. But
from Live.
before that, the elevated events, those elevated no cut events, they're going to be way more entertaining to watch because the golf is going to be leagues ahead of where it is on Live. You know, you're not going to have guys that are going to be 15 over par finishing the weekend. It's going to be very competitive, and it's going to be taken very seriously. So, I mean, it's almost like we're getting a few more majors throughout the year with these events, kind of, you know, it's going to be the best of the best competing several times a year.
Right. So the PGA Tour's always had limited field, no cut, 72 hole stroke play events.
Right.
72 holes, not, 54. So apparently Jack Nicklaus has won 17 times in that format. Arnold Palmer 23 and Tiger Woods 26 times. Does that diminish their records? No, it doesn't, right?
Because they were still, it's not like they were playing against crap players. I mean, we could probably pull up the fields for any of those, and there would be some great names in those fields that could have beaten them realistically.
Right. So what they're doing though, and this is where I understand this a little bit, they're creating a top tier. They're separating the best of the best and putting them here 1A, and they're putting everybody else on the PGA Tour 1B, and saying, hey, if you want to be 1A, win in 1B, you'll get into the 1A events and then win there. And now that ranking the top 50 players in the world can have more movement up and down.
A lot more movement, especially with those extra FedEx Cup points too. I mean, that's going to help a lot, you know, getting down to the wire. Yeah, an extra 200 points is huge.
That's a
especially when it comes down to the end of the year, when those points really matter. And when you're at East Lake and you're all of a sudden, you know, you're starting your weekend 8 strokes under par because you won one of those events and you placed in the top 10 in several of those events too. You know, that goes a long way.
Right. Absolutely. So if I'm a B player, and I don't want to say it like that, and I'm not belittling them taking anything away from them.
Is it top 70 or 50 that they're going to have? What is
the top 70, 74, 75?
Yeah. Perfect. So if you're outside of that range,
and you're not going to be limiting yourself to the best events like a lot of the better players are going to do, right? You still have more opportunity to earn more points than they do because you're going to probably be playing in more events than they are, right?
Yes.
And it's not like playing for a $1.5 million winner's check is chump change.
No,
it's not. And it can still give you that living that you were looking for coming out of Q school or college or whatever, you know, to be a great golfer. And it still gives you the ability to get into and play into the events. You just have to play better, and you have to play better against the top players in the world.
Right.
It's what everybody wants, right? You want to play the best competition you can at that level, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I like that. Interesting. Yeah. So 8 golfers made the list of the top 50 highest paid athletes of all time, and they made adjustments for inflation.
Cool. I'm interested to hear this.
The number 2 athlete of all time, Michael Jordan, was number 1. Okay. Number 2 is
Tiger Woods.
Correct. Yeah. Number 3, Arnold Palmer.
Really? Now, is this just off of winnings, or is this just, you know, estimated?
Everything.
You know, okay. Yeah. I mean, his brand is massive, you know.
Apparently up till his death, Arnold's death in 2016, he was making $40 million a year.
Wild.
$40 million a year.
And it's so crazy. Like we've talked about this a long time ago. You know, Arnold Palmer is one of the people who he is responsible for why golf is so profitable today.
Right.
You know, I mean, he made leaps and bounds to make sure that players were getting paid and that they could make a living doing this. I mean, he was probably one of the first professional golfers to actually be able to make a proper living playing golf professionally.
Right. Number 4 was Jack. Phil's number 10.
Yep.
Greg Norman at number 15.
Yep.
Ernie Els at number 31. Gary Player at number 35. And Rory at number 43.
Dang.
Top paid athletes of all time.
Yeah.
8
That's
golfers
crazy.
made the top 50. That's pretty good. That's really good. Speaking of imitation, the sincerest form of flattery. Liv is copying the 16th hole at the WM Open and creating their own stadium hole when they go to Australia on the par 3 12th hole at the Grange Golf Club in Adelaide.
I love it.
So they're set to construct a stadium-like enclosure right around the hole, modeled exactly after the one at the 16th at TPC Scottsdale. They're thinking that the daily attendance down there is going to be about 20,000 a day. So it's nothing to sneeze at. That's really good numbers. Australia is starved for professional golf. They've talked about that quite a bit. And it's going to be a decent event. I would expect that one to draw pretty good ratings.
Yeah, I'm surprised the PGA doesn't do anything down there. I mean, given, how, it would work out great with Australia being in the Southern Hemisphere during the winter months. You could have stuff going on there, and it'd be perfectly fine. I don't know why they don't do that more often.
Right. I think that Australians really want that.
Yeah.
And they're pissed off that they don't get more of it. So I can see that. They're speaking of Australians and people outside the United States. Just get on social media and start listening to what people are saying that don't live in the States. There's a broad thinking out there that everybody outside the United States thinks that those of us that live here think we are the be all end all of golf. That if you don't play in the United States and you don't play on the PGA Tour, you're not worth shit. And that we know everything about golf and we're the only ones that matter.
You're right. No, just kidding. It's, other than the DP World Tour, I would imagine it's pretty difficult for a professional golfer to make a living anywhere else doing this. The Asian tours
Right.
have events, but I don't think the purses are anywhere near as big. I guess, it's just one of those things where the only other solution to this would be to start your own professional golf league.
Which anybody can do, right? Apparently.
Yeah.
And just because the PGA Tour was where people came to doesn't mean that it had to be.
Right.
People went to play where the best people went to play. And just because they came to play here doesn't make us the be all end all of everything golf.
Right. And that, that's really where what it comes down to is the PGA Tour has the highest caliber of players in the world. Yep. And if you are a serious professional golfer and you want to be taken seriously, you want to play on the PGA Tour. And I'm not trying to say that to sound like I'm better than anybody, but that's just the reality of what it is. If the DP World Tour was the highest paying tour in the world, had the best golfers in the world playing there, everyone would be in Europe playing.
People would flock there.
Yes. And that's just what it comes down to.
But that didn't happen. So
no.
I sent you some stats today. Let me pull it up real quick here.
To my email?
I'm going to get it wrong. No, I texted you. So it was about Minjee Lee.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So in the 2022 season, Minjee Lee beat every male player in the PGA Tour at every distance in accuracy from the fairway. So from 100 to 125 yards, it was JT at 16.4 feet. She was 12 feet. From 125 to 150 yards out, it was Hideki Matsuyama at 19.1 feet, and she was at 16.4. From 150 to 175 yards,
I don't know who
Taylor Gooch.
Potentially.
23 feet. And she was 20 feet. And from 175 to 200 yards, Tom Hoge at 27 feet, and she was 22.5 feet.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
And they're not small. It's not like they're small differences. Those are some significant differences.
Pretty significant. We've been saying for a while that the ladies are really good from the fairway, and typically I believe their averages were better than the men anyway. So
and they're playing courses that are set up harder for them. too.
Yeah,
It's not like they're playing easy courses from the very front tees. I mean, they're playing hard golf courses. They're playing long courses for them, and that's insane.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool stats. I love seeing that. So the LPGA's got a lot of good stuff going for it. But the Arnold Palmer Invitational was last weekend, and Kurt Kitayama comes away with a W for his first PGA Tour title.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. Rory looked like he had it in the bag.
Jordan looked like he had it in the bag. God,
Jordan could not putt, man.
Just a heartbreak, man. Like, it's just one of those things where I turned it on Sunday and I was like, oh, Jordan's leading. Like, yes, he's going to win the Players. And he just missed a lot of short putts. I mean,
yeah, it was tough conditions out there.
Putts.
There was not a lot of people playing well. When you look at it, wasn't a birdie fest. Let's put it that way, right? So McIlroy had 2 sloppy bogeys that really let Kurt come on and get a birdie near the end to hold on for that one-shot lead or one-shot win. Davis Love the third was commentating on. I was watching the end of it. And he's like, "Yep, it's going to be a one-shot difference. Somebody's going to get to 9 under, and that's going to be the difference." And sure enough, it was Kitayama. So
he's now in the top 20, 19th in the world.
Yeah, he breaks the top 20, and that was pretty cool. So Tyrrell Hatton was in a tie for 4th after having his own chances. Harris English finished in the tie for 2nd with Rory. So it was nice to see that. McIlroy, he maybe forced a few shots that he didn't have to. He claimed he did not pay attention to the leaderboard and hit a bad tee shot, which he didn't really have to do, but he did it anyway.
Nope.
And kind of sent things a little bit south for him there. Jack Nicklaus has tried to give him some advice. And right now, Rory builds up the Masters so much that it's hard for him to really compete and play his game when he gets there. And that's something that Jack Nicklaus has told him to stop doing. Right. Just go there, play your own game. So,
yeah. Just stop trying to make it harder on yourself.
Yep. So Rory does well, did better than Rahm. Rahm, finished 35th, I think is his worst finish this year. So I don't think he's going to live there very long. I think Mr. Rahm is going to bounce back pretty spectacularly. We'll see.
Oh man, this is going to be a hard pick for me for this week because I'm torn between like 4 or 5 different people.
Ooh, I know there's a lot of people here, but also last week was the Puerto Rico Open, and Colombian rookie Nico Echevarria was able to get 2 straight birdies in the back 9 and closed out for a 468 and a 2-shot victory.
And he's going to Augusta.
Not only that, but Akshay Bhatia, who, if you have not watched him play, go watch this guy. He's amazing. Finished in alone for 2nd place, and gets him back on a tour or on the tour for the first time. He's been on a Korn Ferry tour. He's a lot of fun to watch. And our friend, not really our friend, but we'd like to think of him as our friend because we love watching him. Wesley Bryan finished solo 6th in this for his highest.
Good for Wesley.
In a PGA event for a long time.
Yep.
George was on the bag for him.
So. Yep. I watched that video actually of him.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
I didn't. I saw.
I was very happy to see him in the top 10. I know he's been struggling a lot after the injury. Wasn't really able to get his driver under control. I'm just happy to see him out there making the cut and finishing it, high up on the leaderboard.
Yeah, Echevarria gets him into the Players Championship as well this weekend. So he's got a shot at $25 million, whatever the purse is there for split out. And he gets a spot in the PGA Championship and a 2-year exemption on the PGA Tour for it. So that's pretty dang good, right?
That is pretty dang good.
So up next is the Players Championship. Who you got?
Oh, okay. This is gonna be a weekly thing now because I can't remember. Have I picked Patrick Cantlay yet?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember. And since my other computer died, the spreadsheet is living on there, so I can't pull it up. I don't think you have, but give me a backup just in case. Patrick Cantlay first.
Patrick Cantlay first. Oh, man, it's so hard. Part of me really wants to pick Rom, but I think again, I'm going to save that for a major. That's a major contender.
Biggest purse on the tour is this event.
I don't. It's such a hard pick, honestly. Like, okay, so it's you go. You tell me who you're picking, and then I will make my backup pick.
I think I'm going with JT.
That's a pick. That's a pick. You think he's going to do it again?
I think JT is going to do well here. I really do. But we'll
Okay.
see. I mean,
Harold? Nope. I'm looking at the wrong. I was looking at the average green or the average world golf rankings, and I was like, Harold Varner the third is going to be here, but it was just him. Okay, so if not Patrick Cantlay, I am going to pick. You know what? Screw it. I could regret this pick, but if I have already picked Cantlay, Rory is my second.
oof. Wow. That's pretty good. That's
Yep.
pretty good. So Tony's going Cantlay.
God, that must be a good sign if Tony, because that man can pick him. I mean, he really seems like he's on a roll.
Jeff is going with Spieth.
Okay.
So there's some pretty interesting tee times and groupings here. Finau, Tom Kim, and Cantlay are playing together to start on Thursday morning. Who else we got? Siwoo Kim, Webb Simpson, Tyrrell Hatton. That's an interesting one. Rahm, Scheffler, and Rory going out together. That's a really good one. Johnny Vegas is playing with Ryan Fox and Peter Malnati. Who else we got? Matty Fitzpatrick, Victor Hovland, and Shane Lowry.
And that
gonna be very
Rahm,
interesting.
Scheffler, and
Homa, Thomas, Spieth.
it's gonna be fun. Hopefully Hulu has some good coverage, because lately it's kind of been a little crap for me. Like, it seems like they're not really showing the good featured groups.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
Interesting. So what do you got on this course? It's a pretty iconic course, right?
Yeah, and we've talked about it. I think we talked about it last year a little bit too on a
Yeah, we did.
podcast. But just a brief summary for those of you that didn't listen. It's designed in 1980 by the legendary Pete Dye. He was apparently the first choice. Like, they didn't want anyone else designing this golf course. He had a lot of experience designing golf courses on really swampy land, so he was the obvious choice there. It's specifically built for this championship. This is the reason they built it, and was the first stadium course of its kind. The way that the course is laid out, all of the golf is done lower than all of the surrounding spectator spots. So all the grandstands and spectator locations are up, raised above the golf course to give spectators a really good look down onto the action. You can look around the area and see several different holes around you. So, you're constantly seeing golf shots pretty much all the time that you're there.
Nice.
The land, and I think we covered this last time, this is a cool little tidbit. The land that was used for this was purchased for $1.
I remember that.
570 some acres was purchased for $1 to build this.
Florida swampland.
Yes. After the course was built, it was considered by a lot of golfers to be too hard.
Really?
A lot of professional golfers, I think it was 83 or 82 when the first tournament was held, hated it. They thought it was too hard. They thought that it was designed to embarrass them and make them look bad. Which,
wow.
Again, I mean, it's considered one of the hardest courses on tour, but that's one of the reasons why it was built, was to test golfers and to make the great golfers look great. And if you don't have it that week, you're gonna go home and you're not going to be too happy about it.
Yeah, well, it also holds one of the most iconic holes in golf, right? Number 17.
I mean, one of the best three stretches of golf holes. I mean, 16, 17, and 18. 16 is a long par 5 that's gettable, but has a lot of trouble on the right. It's all water. So, I mean, if you have to hit a shot into the green, chances are you're going to be in trouble. And then from there, you go to the island green. And then from there, you go to 18, which is, again, all water on the left-hand side. And if you're going for a hero shot, you have to carry the water and land it on the left side of the fairway to get a good look into the green. So, I mean, it's rough. It's target golf. I mean, that's what Pete Dye really is known for, is building courses that set up that risk reward, but he also wants you to play them specific ways. A lot of Sawgrass is set up where you have to hit a draw off of the tee and then immediately hit a fade for your second shot or something of that sort. You have to shape the ball multiple times. You're not going to get a lot of easy shots into the green. On hole 4, actually, I thought this was a pretty cool piece of design where hole 4 is set up where you hit your tee shot and then there's water in front of the green. So you have to carry it over water onto the green. If you hit it on the right side of the fairway, you're fine. You have a perfect shot into the green. But if you're 20 yards left, you're behind a hill that encroaches into the fairway and the green is completely blind. So you can't see where you're hitting into.
That's brutal.
Yeah, there's just a lot of little nuances like that on the golf course. It's on my bucket list of courses to play.
Oh yeah,
I think it's also one of those courses where we can play it. It is a public golf course that's open to anyone as long as they have the funds available. I think it's like $600 or $700 around.
Wow.
But it's Pete Dye. He's one of the goats for golf course architecture. So
absolutely. So it's going to be a great week. There's going to be a lot of interesting shots hit here because this course demands precision from the fairway into smaller greens. You're not looking at huge green complexes here, so you have to hit the ball well. And I think JT is going to come through this week. So
you think so, huh? I hope so. I mean, I hope he does too, but obviously I would much rather have Patrick Cantlay win.
I think it's a little risky because he doesn't necessarily play the best in March. But
he won it. He won it 2 years ago. So
I don't think that I blew my Cantlay pick earlier in the season, and I knew better. I should have waited because I want to hold on to Cantlay till towards the end of the season when he actually starts to catch fire and play well. So it's going to be an interesting week. We're not going to watch pretty much any of it because we'll be at the state archery tournament here in Ohio and helping our team hopefully do well there. So,
as long as JT makes the cut, I think that's when it gets serious because he's not a golfer that really goes out and is, you don't see him leading a tournament very often. He's usually on Sunday. It's like, holy shit, he just has 5 birdies in a row. What's happening? Right. He's now leading the tournament. Right. He plays his best golf on the weekend. So as long as he gets into the weekend, I think he has a shot.
Yeah, we'll see. And if Spieth could putt, he'd be great.
Hopefully
he doesn't fall apart again. So.
Man, those putting yips, I get it. Like, it sucks. I feel for him. Like, I feel like it must be awful going over a putt and just kind of being like, oh shit,
Yep. Live Golf doesn't have a tournament till the 17th. So next week, where they're in at the Gallery Club in Tucson, Arizona. The LPGA played last week, and Ko Jin Young is a champion once again. So almost a year to the day since she had a record-shattering victory at the HSBC Women's World Championship. The South Korean came back to Singapore and defended her crown and got her 14th LPGA Tour victory. So
awesome.
That's pretty good. Lots of heavy rain and delays and things like that, but she shot 17 under and finished 2 shots ahead of Nelly Korda, and became the first player to turn its 15-year history to secure back-to-back wins. Really, really good job. She had a wrist injury that persisted for most of last year, and she broke down crying and had a really emotional hug with her caddy. It was a great win for her, so really happy to see that. She was thrilled. She said it was a great honor to defend this title again. It was a long week for me, but very great, and I'm so happy. So the ladies traveled to Jian Lake Blue Golf Club, in Lingshu, Hainan, China for this week's Blue Bay LPGA Championship, which starts tomorrow.
Cool.
Not something we'll be able to watch.
No,
because it's in China.
In China, yeah.
We will not be able to see that, but that's okay. World rankings, not much of a change here. Max Homa went up 1 to number 7.
He's still just going. I mean, the man is going up.
Will Zalatoris dropped down to number 8. Matty Fitzpatrick jumped to number 12. Tony Finau dropped to number 13.
Jordan Spieth moved up with that 3rd place.
Yeah, Tom Kim has dropped to number 17. He hasn't really been doing very much lately.
No.
And Jordan Spieth's up to number 15 in the world. So that's great. That's what's going on in the world of golf today. One of the things that we've talked about, you brought this up, is let's start talking about the different types of golfers. There's a lot of different types of golfers.
There are a lot of different like golf stereotypes, stuff like that too.
I came up with some.
Okay.
So we'll start there. We can expand on it. So
perfect.
Obviously there's the beginner, someone just starting, learning the basics, right? So Michael Farah from Al's Kitchen's one of those people. We've had him on the show before. There's the weekend warrior.
Yes, that's what I am sometimes.
Play on the weekends. That's pretty much it. Enjoy the game and socialize with friends, right?
Yep.
That's all we're doing. You have the casual golfer, guy that plays golf occasionally, doesn't take it very seriously. I don't think we fit into that role.
No.
The senior golfer, we'll let Jeff own that one.
That's right. Jeff can be the senior golfer.
Jeff could be the
senior. Isn't Mary older than Jeff?
Yes. But
just saying.
I think we'll give it to Jeff.
Yeah.
Because he's not here to defend himself.
There you go.
There's the golf addict. The one that just obsessed.
Yep.
Plays as often as I possibly can.
Yep. I'd say you're probably fit into that a little bit.
Maybe.
Yep.
There's the hacker. Right? Golfers struggle with consistency, can't keep the ball out of trouble.
He's been playing for 20 years and still shoots, 120 every single weekend. Yeah.
How about the fashionista, the golfer that has to be dressed perfectly every time?
I'm about it.
Yep, that's not bad. There's the risk taker.
That's me. That's dumb. The dumb decision maker.
I can hit it through that V in the tree that's 28 feet high.
Right.
And keep it under the other. Yeah, that's the risk taker. We've both been guilty of that one, right?
Yes, we have. I feel like every golfer is kind of a risk taker too, a little bit,
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes
you gotta go for the hero shot. Sometimes you gotta.
Didn't come here to lay up.
That's right. That's right.
Not come here to lay up.
I'm not playing in a tournament, so might as well try it.
Yeah, there's the tech savvy guy, or gal, always up to date, got the latest equipment, it's got all the latest tools and tricks and stuff like that, right?
Yep. Always has a new set of clubs every year.
Yeah, the precision type golfer. So the guy or gal that's extremely precise with their shots and focuses on accuracy over distance and everything else. The power guy, the one that, driving for show, and it's all about the show.
Yep.
Gotta hit it as far as you possibly can every single time.
Yep.
There's the mental game golfer. So it's all about the mental game. If I could just get my mental game straight, would be great.
I feel like that's you and me a lot of the times, to be honest. I really do, actually.
There's the fit guy or gal. So they're just excellent shape, and it's a way for them to stay in shape. Might play speed golf where they're carrying 4 or 5 clubs and going as fast as they can. The laid back, relaxed golfer. So nothing bothers them, just really relaxed, doesn't get worked up about anything. There's the opposite of that, the intense golfer, where just very competitive. Everything is serious.
Yep.
Counting everything. There's the guy or gal that's the club collector. So they have to collect large amounts of golf clubs and have lots of stuff to choose from. There's the pros, obviously. There's the teacher golfer, the ones that have to teach everybody, no, do it this way. No, do it that way. And the last one I came up with, or actually I didn't come up with this, somebody else came up with this, is the environmental golfer. They got to protect the environment. They're choosing everything that's eco-friendly and trying to save the world by playing golf the right way in their mind. So what do you think? Where do you fit in?
Probably a little bit of all, not all of them, but a very good mix of them. I feel like, there are several that I probably fit into. What about the infinite waggler?
Ooh,
The
that's
guy
a
that
good one.
the guy that gets up to the ball and shakes it out and all right, waggles,
Sergio.
steps back, okay, waggle, waggle, waggle,
Sergio with the
Yeah.
regrip and regrip and regrip and regrip, right?
Or the yardage checker who he's constantly,
Oh,
pulling up the rangefinder. Yep, okay.
that's
Or
the same
the
guys that go to Top Golf with the rangefinder.
yeah. Yes, those are the guys. Yeah. That also fall into like the too serious type of golfer. Like if you're at Top Golf with a rangefinder, you probably need to calm down a little bit there, bud.
Let's relax.
Yeah. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think. The I'll wait. I'll let them clear the green type of guy. Duffs it, 100 yards.
Yeah, yeah.
I can
know
get there.
I'm 240 out, but if I hit this,
I was gonna say,
right,
if I hit it right on the nuts, this thing is gonna get there. So I want to make sure.
And then they hit it 15 yards in front of them.
Yeah.
We may have been guilty of that a couple times.
Yes, we're also guilty of being behind those guys and just going, "Come on, let's go."
We've watched you play. You are not going to get there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think we're a combination of all those things.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think we have to maybe develop this into something.
The mental golfer is a big one because I've lost count of the amount of times we've been on the golf course. Like, God, I just need to let that go. I gotta stop getting so mad. I need to be, better mental game.
On the next shot.
Yeah. I feel like it's every round of golf.
Every time
we have that conversation.
Every time. If we could just start the round the way we finish a round,
right,
we'd be really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's great. Once you're 3.5 hours into a round, fully warmed up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree. I think there's a lot of us in a lot of these things. As I was reading through them, it was it makes you think about what kind of golfer do you really want to be. And I just want to be the kind of golfer that goes out and is competitive and enjoys it. Right.
Yeah.
And no, I don't want to take things too seriously anymore. I actually play better when we're having conversations outside of golf on the golf course.
Yeah.
And then we stop and focus on what we have to do there. And
right.
we just move on to the next shot.
Right.
If we play relaxed, we play better. We've noticed that, I think, both of us.
Oh, for sure.
Nancy Lopez, who I love dearly because of this, says play happy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we all play better when we play happy, because the second we get pissed off or down on ourselves, that's when we lose it. Right. Every single time.
Every time. It's that, that double bogey. And it's like, God, if I wouldn't hit that shot fat, if I wouldn't hit my second shot fat, I probably would have gotten at least a bogey. And then you just start replaying everything that you did wrong. And then obviously that compounds the mistakes, makes things worse because you're thinking about your swing. You're not just doing it. You're thinking about every aspect of it.
Right. Right. So what kind of golfer are you? Leave us a comment or hit us up on any of the social media pages that we have, and let us know what kind of golfer you are, and maybe we'll have a conversation about that. So what else you got for this week, Aaron?
Nothing crazy. I did want to so a lot of the information that I got for TPC Sawgrass, I didn't want to use old information that I had said last year. So there's a YouTube channel that I watched called Fried Eggs Golf, and it's a couple guys, they have a website, and it's a lot of it's dedicated to golf course architecture. So I just wanted to shout that out. If any of you listening are interested in that, check them out on YouTube, go to their website.
Put the link down in the description.
Yeah, because they have a lot of good videos where they go to a lot of US Open courses, and they just talk about, the history, the design elements, what makes them unique golf courses. And it's just really interesting.
Yeah, cool. Good guys. Got a lot of stuff coming out again. Mike from Al's Kitchen hooked up with Luke Kwan on Instagram, I think. So they started talking about food and stuff like that. I don't want to get into too much of it, but he came up with a great idea that I'm trying to push him to do. So we'll see if anything happens with that. We have a lot of good friends of the show. Please go out and support them. Matt Walter from Matt Walter's Golf Academy. Luke from Whiskey Run Golf Club up in Canada by Niagara Falls. And who am I missing?
Swizzy Golf, Eric from Swizzy Golf.
Eric. Oh my God, Swizzy Golf, Eric. I'm very sorry. Swizzy Golf is an excellent option if you're looking to improve your game, but don't have access to what you would think is a competent instructor. Swizzy Golf can help you there as well by hooking you up online with a golf instructor and doing real-time golf lessons, over your phone using their app. It's fantastic. It's really great. So we have to have all these people back on the show again. It's been a while since we had a guest, but we have the Masters special coming up. Maybe we'll have a big show there and get everybody on, and everybody can talk about their favorite Masters moments. Mine is still from Jack's win, his last win. That one really got me hooked on the game, and I loved it. So Tiger Woods' last win was amazing as well. But Jack's last win is the one that got me going. So think about what yours is, and maybe we'll talk about it. So
another shout out, another quick YouTube shout out. If you are a Masters junkie like we are, if you don't know, on YouTube, the Masters YouTube channel has every Sunday broadcast, the full broadcast since 1975 on their YouTube channel. So you can go back and you can watch every Sunday round from 1975 till last year. So
there you go.
You can fill up your post or your pre-Masters time with some of those good videos.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great news. And throw the link down in the description for everybody, Aaron, so they can hit it up. Other than that, that's all I got.
That's all I got too.
Awesome. Thanks again for joining us. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe to our channel. Throw some comments down. We'd love to interact with you, and throw us a like, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.